Amid the rapid developments on the Korean Peninsula, there are mixed views on both hope and skepticism toward North Korea. Joseph Detrani, former special envoy to the six-party talks, is closely watching the developments with guarded optimism and believes there are many reasons to feel more confident this time around. Our Park Hee-jun sat down with him.
Ambassador Detrani, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. With your experience of negotiating with North Korea on the nuclear issue, how would you assess the recent developments on the Korean Peninsula?
There's so much work to be done here, but there's hope. 6 months ago, we were very close to having conflict on the Korean Peninsula. Now, as we sit here in June, we're looking at the prospects of denuclearization, complete denuclearization in North Korea, and North Korea integrating into the family of nations, and looking at economic development and walking away from nuclear weapons. We've had some moments of partial success in the past, only to be disappointed. But I think right now, there's lots of reasons to be optimistic.
So are you saying that North Korea will eventually keep up its end of the bargain when it comes to nuclear issue?
In the past, we were negotiators, and we worked this, and we moved it forward for our leaders to agree on. And we had the joint statement of 2005. In this case, it's our leaders sitting down and negotiating and making it, which means this is much more viable. This has much more credibility because it's a commitment of our leaders, President Moon Jae-in, President Donald Trump, President Xi Jinping, Prime Minister Abe, President Putin. It's our leaders making this commitment with Chairman Kim Jong-un.
Now, we don't know exactly when the regime will, get with its program on nuclear disarmament, but when it does, I would assume that all the preparation, including inspections, would have to be in place beforehand. Could you help us walk us through the entire process for preparation on North Korea's denuclearization?
Well, that's the key. Basically, a declaration of their nuclear and missile, mid-range, long-range missile capabilities, and then agree to a verification protocol. Now, we know what that universe looks like, and then they have to agree. This is normal procedure. The IAEA does this all the time. And it's likely, hopefully, we would have IAEA monitors there. If not that, certainly the nuclear weapon state monitors there, like the United States, China, Russia, to confirm that North Korea is dismantling the way they said they would. The question has to be then, where do you dismantle these nuclear weapons? Do you dismantle them in North Korea? Do you take those nuclear weapons out somewhere else? Do the North Koreans take the responsibility for dismantlement, or do we sort of collaborate on dismantlement? I think 2 years is very ambitious to complete it. I think we can get a good deal done, but again, it depends on what that nuclear universe looks like of theirs.
What would be the smart and ideal way to press North Korea to complete and irreversible denuclearization?
Normalization of relations with the United States is key to get this process going, because normalization with the United States would give North Korea access to U.S. financial institutions and then the international financial institutions so that they will get foreign direct investment, things they need for economic development. They need that. But for normalization of relations with the United States, we also require a very robust dialogue on human rights and illicit activities. And we need to see very tangible, verifiable progress on these issues. So it's nuclear to get us to the table, but for normalization, these other issues come into play, and they are important also.
Thank you so much for your time and insight again.
Thanks for your interest and your concern. And congratulations what the Republic of Korea is doing.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.